Meeting will call the Police Commission to order. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Recording Secretary, Executive Assistant Laurie Marsh is present, and roll call for the commissioners. Commissioner Davis?
Yep.
Commissioner Mello?
Yeah.
Commissioner Fordham is present. We have a quorum, and we will proceed with the agenda. And I forgot to recognize Chief Canfield. My apologies.
No worries.
Okay. Personnel matters, commendations, and awards. Chief Canfield.
Nothing?
Resignations and retirement.
We do have two. Dispatcher Alexis Dubois submitted her resignation effective December 13th. She'll be looking to, I believe she has plans to move out of state and to relocate, so she will no longer be working for us, which will be a loss to us for sure.
Is that the big girl? Is it dispatcher?
She's our newest dispatcher.
Oh, the newest?
Yep.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And in addition to that, Tom Sweat, who had retired a while ago and works at UNH, had stayed on part-time, but he never really did a whole lot of work with us. And he thought it best to just kind of consolidate and to submit his resignation with us and just stay certified through UNH.
Promotions and classification changes. Chief Canfield.
Nothing?
Command and staff reports. Support Division, Chief Canfield.
So for the support division, they've been continuing to work on the build-out of the command post vehicle, which is being built in Arizona. We hope to take delivery of it late spring or early summer. That was just a reminder, that was grant funded in the amount of $250,000 through federal Homeland Security grants. Detectives are currently, or the majority of the detectives are currently attending serious death or homicide training this week, with the exception of Detective Horan and Detective Adams, who are still around. They've been working closely with the Child Advocacy Center, doing a lot of good work with them. I had a meeting there last week, along with detectives, and we touched base with their staff, and very grateful to the Child Advocacy Center for all the work that they do in collaboration with all of our people for investigating child abuse. And then lastly, we've been working on preparing the budget for next fiscal year, which is due next week. So once that's been finalized, I'll submit it to the commission for your review as well before it gets submitted next week.
Questions or comments? Moving on to Operations Division, Chief Canfield.
They've been working hard. They've been working with State Department of Health and Human Services to administer the booster vaccine for any of our staff that opt in for it, which will be held tomorrow. They've also been working with staff from DHHS, which will be hosting one of 11 statewide COVID clinics that will be here in Laconia. Or actually for the Belknap County region, will be held at the college on Saturday. So they've been working to work out some of the logistics of that and traffic flow and whatnot. And then they've been working on recruitment to fill the soon-to-be vacant dispatcher position, which they've been kind of taking applications and doing roll-in interviews to kind of speed up the process instead of setting a deadline in January and then doing them all. I thought it best that we kind of get the ball rolling, and that if we do interviews as we receive the applications, if we come across a good applicant, then we'll do that. And we've had several applications that look promising at this point. Still been trying to fill the one patrol officer position. They did a test a couple weeks ago. They're doing another testing process and oral board for 2 people this Friday. So hopefully that pans out with something that will be brought forward to be considered for hire. And that is it for operations.
And that's a good segue to go into hirings, Chief.
guess I kind of covered that already. So, you know, they're looking to fill both of those positions as well.
Good. Moving on to commission action. You've all had a copy, received a copy of the meeting, the minutes of the previous meeting. Any questions or discussions, or I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we accept the minutes as written.
Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
On the motion made by Commissioner Mello, was seconded by Commissioner Davis, passes unanimously. The meeting minutes of October 20th, 2021 were accepted as distributed. On to item 7B, out-of-state schools.
The first one would be a request to send Detective John Howe to the Advanced Crash Investigation School in Foxborough, Mass. He's already attended the first school. As part of the accident reconstruction team, there's a series of 3 courses. One is at scene, one is advanced scene crash, and then crash reconstruction. This is the second of that series. It's a 2-week school. This was the closest school that we could find in Foxborough, Mass. So something that John is interested in, and certainly he's willing to respond to crash scenes as he already has been doing. And this would be the second building block towards becoming a full accident reconstructionist. So looking for permission to send him to that crash reconstruction school in February in Foxborough, Mass. The second school request would be to send Officer Eric Adams to Atlanta, Georgia, to attend a national conference on the Prescription Abuse and Heroin Summit. This is a 3-day program that came across my desk, and it certainly fits into the realm of what Officer Adams or Detective Adams does, and certainly an opportunity to not only network with some of the leaders in his type of work, but also there's many good classes for him to take to continue doing the good work that he does and bring back new ideas. So request to send him to that in April as well.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the 2 previously mentioned schools, advanced crash investigation and the prescription abuse and heroin summit.
I make a motion, we accept, send those 2 people to the schools.
Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
A motion made by Commissioner Mello, was seconded by Commissioner Davis. It passes unanimously. The 2 above schools were approved as submitted. The notice of holidays.
I think you have the list of what the city has adopted for holidays for 2022. This would be a request of the Police Commission to vote to accept these holidays as the same as the city holidays for all of Laconia Police employees.
I'll make a motion to approve the holidays as presented.
Second.
Second, a motion made by Commissioner Davis, seconded by Commissioner Mello. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. The notice of holidays for 2022 are approved. Review of the monthly activity reports. Chief Canfield.
So for the month of November, we've responded to a total of 1,605 calls for service, which is up slightly over last year, close to 3%. We investigated a total of 266 criminal offenses, clearing 183 of those by arrest, making a total of 96 physical custody arrests. We took 19 people into custody for intoxication, responded to a total of 25 domestic disturbance calls for the month, 83 other disturbances, 10 suicidal subjects, investigated the death of one suicide, investigated 12 violations of restraining orders, and volunteer hours were at 4 hours for the month.
Questions or comments? Moving on to criminal investigative unit statistics. Chief Canfield.
So for the month of November, detectives investigated, they took on 7 initial cases, conducted 27 follow-up investigations on other cases, made 5 felony arrests, initiated 13 felony charges, 1 misdemeanor arrest, 18 misdemeanor charges. They conducted a total of 33 search warrants or arrest warrants. They cleared 5 cases exceptionally, unfounded 1 case, conducted 14 sex offender registrations, 5 computer-related criminal investigations, 1 background investigation, 2 knock and talks, completed 6 drug intel sheets, and covered 1 patrol shift, as well as conducted 1 polygraph examination, and 49 body-worn camera redactions. So they've been certainly busy.
Questions?
Question about training hours from last year to this year, about double, which is good, so that was, that was all built in the budget, I assume, right, for this year?
Yeah, I think if we look at the training hours for,
I'm looking at the activity report.
in fact, I think that there's an issue with those numbers. If you look at the first sheet, October, it shows 201 training hours for October of 2021. I would assume that most of those are attributed to Dan Carson going to polygraph school, which was in Pennsylvania for a number of weeks. That's probably why they're a lot higher.
That would definitely, I'm just looking at the 2021 to date.
Yeah, I don't think their training hours have changed much over last year. I would assume it's attributed to the polygraph school.
Yeah.
Okay, budget printouts, Chief Canfield.
The budget is tracking just slightly under. However, we're about halfway through the budget year, so it's certainly looking good at this point.
Questions? Monthly traffic statistics, Chief Canfield.
So for the month of November, we issued a total of 23 parking tickets, 12 for overtime parking, 2 for left wheel of curb, 5 for parking on a sidewalk, 1 for parking by a fire hydrant, 1 for other, and 3 for the snow, midnight to sunrise, and 28 for a snow removal period. We investigated a total of 47 motor vehicle accidents, 12 of those with personal injury. Number 1 location or cause of accident was for driver inattention, which attributed to 12 of those crashes. Location, the number 1 location was on Union Avenue, which is no surprise. And then for November, we conducted a total of 498 motor vehicle stops, issued 16 motor vehicle summonses, and 377 written warnings.
The parking on the sidewalk, these guys that, I noticed on Oak Street this morning and yesterday, that they had two big trucks parked right at the intersection on the sidewalk there. Do they get special permission to do that, to trim trees and stuff inside somebody's private property?
Yeah, we wouldn't have a problem with that as long as it's out of the street, or if they have traffic control to do it. But if they're just parked, they cannot be parked on the sidewalk.
Well, I was just wondering because when they're parked there, there's time when the kids go to walking that sidewalk, going over there.
Right, they should have a plan to deal with that and direct those kids as well as traffic.
Yeah.
Monthly fleet report, Chief Canfield.
The new vehicles are in. They're in the process of being equipped and outfitted. We expect them to be online sometime in January.
And the vehicles they're replacing,
They're replacing 3 of the older vehicles in the fleet.
and they'll go to the city for other uses, or do they go to surplus, or?
Either one, they'll go to the city if they're still salvageable. If they're not, then they'll go to auction and the city will get rid of them.
Surplus. correspondence to and from the department? Chief Canfield.
There was a nice letter of thank you for the boys and, or thank you from the Boys and Girls Club, thanking us for our support of their organization.
Okay, Chief's report. Chief Canfield.
So for the month of November, or I guess total years to date, we've had a total of 78 drug overdose calls, as compared to a total of 60 for last year. So our total number of drug overdoses are up. If you look on the, drug overdose deaths, these numbers are not really correct. We've had a total of 11 drug overdose deaths that the detectives are currently investigating, or suspected drug overdose deaths. These numbers are true to the point that they've gotten the autopsy results and the toxicology results back to actually say that they were drug overdoses, but we are currently investigating 11 that we believe to be the result of drug overdoses. So these are certainly significant cases that take a lot of time. We have been able to make an arrest for death resultant. Someone provided prescription drugs that result in the drug overdose death of somebody, so they did make a case on that. So they're looking at making these cases on several others. Very difficult cases to investigate and very time consuming, but we do take these seriously. To have this many people die in 1 year as a result of drug overdoses is really unacceptable in a city our size.
Questions, comments?
We have a staff meeting training coming up on December 16th. This will encompass a 2-hour webinar for all of our frontline supervisors on responding to crime scenes, particularly violent assaults and death scenes. So something that we've seen a lot of in Laconia that I think just kind of puts on a little better ground with a training opportunity. So we'll be doing that on the 16th in combination with our staff meeting. In addition, we'll be undertaking a leadership training with Primex again, starting in January or February. It'll consist of all supervisors being required to read segments of 2 different leadership books, and then it'll be a facilitated discussion by Primex, who will come in and lead a discussion, all supervisory based. So looking forward to that, and I think it'll have an impact on all of our supervisors. We will not be doing a retiree lunch on Christmas Eve that we have traditionally been doing as a result of COVID and just not wanting to expose people out at risk. We will be doing a department luncheon on December 22nd at noon for all employees, and certainly the police commission is invited to attend. We'd love to see you there.
I'm gonna donate a cooked ham.
Cooked ham, that sounds great. That sounds awesome. So the city typically does an employee luncheon for all city employees. They decided to cancel theirs as a result of COVID this year, not wanting to bring people together. So that was consistent with that request. And then lastly, I gave you the 2021 goals and objectives, which have been a little skewed by COVID and just the topsy-turviness of this year. So some of these will be brought forward to you as we develop the 2022 goals. But just to review the 2021 goals, the detective unit review has been developed, and they've developed a pathway towards continuing the polygraph program and continuing their work to be certified as a crime scene unit. The training that they're out now is one of the first steps in continuing that. Technology, I know when you've been in the PD, you've seen the signboards that we are able to display messages to 3 different TV screens throughout the PD, just a different way of spreading the message, which has been accomplished. The patrol office review, we held off on this due to not wanting to bring extra people in, and we'll address that at some point. The Uniform Review and Study Committee, this will continue into 2022. We did obtain new training uniforms that will be used for training and when officers work details that are consistent. Prior to this, those uniforms have been varied in types and colors and fadedness and stuff, so they've all been brought together. Everyone's gotten new uniforms that are all the same and consistent in look. Those were actually funded by through grant money. Department Firearms Range, that will be continued into 2022. Our goal was to work on developing our own firearms range up by the transfer station on city-owned land. This would allow us to free up additional training time by having officers go up there individually when they're on duty to free up that other training time. Comprehensive written directive review, this is ongoing. We're in year 2 of this program. It's a 5-year program or process that we've contracted with the Daigle Law Group to take a look at all of our policies and look at them for legality. So they basically broke our policy manual into sections, and then they submit it, and they're being updated as we speak. And then the department video, that was completed, and that will be distributed by the end of the year to the department. So we'll be using that video for a recruitment campaign as well. So we'll be developing the 2022 goals at our staff meeting, and then once those are developed, I'll get those out to you at the next commission meeting in January. And that's all I have for my report.
Is there a time we could see, can we come in and look at the video?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yep.
good.
Certainly. Or I can send you an email link too, if you'd like.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good.
Hey,
Sure.
Dave, you can do
Yeah.
that, yeah?
Yeah.
That's in the link there.
Yep.
Old business. Anything, chief, on the old business?
Nothing?
New business?
Nothing?
Other business?
Nothing?
Citizens' comments? Confirmation of the next meeting date would be January 19th, 2022. And I take it there is a need for non-public?
There is.
I'll entertain a motion to,
Make a motion that we go into non-public pursuant to RSA 91-A:3, 2A, the dismissal, promotion, or compensation of any public employee or to the discipline of such employee or the investigation of any charges against him or her, unless the employee affected, 1, has a right to a meeting, and 2, requests that the meeting be open, in which case the meeting shall be granted, the request shall be granted.
there's a second.
Second.
Roll call, Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Yes. Commissioner Mello?
Yes.
Commissioner Hordam, yes. So we enter into non-public at 3:25.